welcome into the Sporty Show, ladies and gentlemen. It is always a pleasure to have you here. As always, I am Sara, and even though it is international break, there is still so much to discuss in the weekend that has just passed. The one and only Klinton Cod.
As usual, the one and only. There is no any other one. The only one, the one face everybody wants to see. But the one face nobody wants to see is the tall Alex Ashmore. Alex, do you think they want to see your face? Just be sincere with yourself.
Well, you don't, so I guess I gotta leave then.
Nah, nobody's asking you to leave. Like I said, your bow tie, it took you time to make, and I wouldn't want all of that effort to be put to waste, bro. Well, let's not debate
You're saying
too
that's
much.
the only reason why I'm here?
Well, I mean, think whatever you want to think about, man.
You are disrespectful and rude today.
It's because both his teams did badly on the weekend.
Both, all five, every single team. All right, guys, here's what we have coming up on today's show.
Today's Sporty Show focuses on all the weekend action as we react to Manchester United's 3-0 loss to Liverpool. We also look back at all the Premier League action, including Erling Haaland scoring another hat-trick and both Arsenal and Chelsea drawing against Brighton and Crystal Palace respectively. And we talk La Liga as Mbappe scored his first league goals for Real Madrid, whilst Barcelona won 7-0 against Valladolid.
Yes, quite the busy weekend across Europe. But just quickly, before we jump into all of that, a bit of breaking news here is that Victor Osimhen has been given the green light to be on loan to Galatasaray. A move to Turkey, Alex. A move to Turkey, Klinton.
I've just tried to look, on the usual sources that would carry this stuff, and for some reason I've not seen it though. Alex, what do you think?
It is the rumor mill, but the rumor mill is. I mean, we know that the transfer window is open for some countries as Saudi Arabia for a couple more days, so things are still percolating. Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense for him to move away from Napoli. At this point, it is anywhere but Napoli, because if Antonio Conte says he's not part of his plans, then a player like Osimhen, any player would want to be playing, no matter if it means they have to drop down a level perhaps, or they have to, maybe spend half a season or a season where they don't want to be. So if he does get the move to Galatasaray, I don't think it's the worst thing. It means he'll be playing football week in, week out. He'll get some European football as well, which is good. So hopefully the rumour is true.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's a very good development because, playing for Galatasaray is way better than training with some junior team in Napoli or wherever it is they're going to cage him or lock him. Because right now I feel like, the whole situation with Osimhen is just some kind of prisoner story. Just watch people train and don't deal with them. Just receive money. Which, if I was him, I would be very happy with it, though. Fam,
best pizza in the world.
Pay me 300 grand a week for me to chill and watch people train. Bro, what other job could be better than that, bro?
It's not bad.
No, it's not. Fam, it's not too bad. Just go around, jog around, drink some energy drink here and there, play PS5. Boom, at the end of the week, 300 grand is gone in. Bro, Osimhen, you're a Nigerian. If I was you, I understand I want to play and keep my fitness. But if I see the opportunity to just sit down and watch people play football and I get paid even more than most of them, I will take the opportunity. I'm going to do like a Nigeria boy.
But then wouldn't he have taken the job in Saudi Arabia? Because he really lost the bag there.
Everybody knows he lost the bag. As a matter of fact, if you look at the Nigerian social media, you would see that a lot of people are bashing him for... some people have used even harsh words. People have said, that was stupidity. How would you be offered such money and you will still deliberate on listening to Chelsea? And Chelsea's messed him up. Where is he now? He's not in the big bag. If this whole Galatasaray talk is fake, it just means he would just be watching people train. Like I said, it's still not a bad job, right? But that big bag would have been more. I mean, look at Ivan Toney. Do you know how much Ivan Toney is going to get every single week in Saudi Arabia? He's gone for from 40K a week in Brentford to 400K. That's over 900% increase in the salary. That's a lot.
Do people not respect him though for, obviously the talk of the town these days is the big money move to Saudi Arabia, and when you see players reject that, for me, especially as a younger player like Osimhen, if I, was a Napoli fan, if I was a Nigerian football fan, I would respect him more for rejecting that offer and wanting to stay in Europe and to try and become the best footballer possible. Is that not the mood amongst the camp as well?
That's because you're a British boy, right?
But are there not people in Nigeria that think, I respect him more for...
Nigerians don't respect... Listen, if it's not money, don't talk to us. We like our money. Right now, they don't respect Osimhen again because he did not go for the bag. All this, you are young, you still have more career, you still we don't care. It's nobody's business. Go and collect, go and secure. Somebody was saying that trophies don't buy food. Trophies don't buy things from the stores or from the supermarket. What does is money? It's cash. Alex, you look good today because of some nice haircut somebody gifted. Was it a trophy? It wasn't a trophy, you bought it.
It only cost me 15 euros.
I mean, but it still costed you effectivo.
Well, no, I paid with my card, so...
Look at this
when you try and speak Spanish, doesn't work.
No, I was even thinking he was going to be like, oh, wow, good Spanish. Man, literally counted.
He said, no, I'm paying with card.
No, but you see why I didn't miss him on this show, though? But you see why I said...
you were terrible. That intro. And just to let you know, we had to do it twice. And he did it twice. All right, guys, make sure you follow us on all of our socials. Like I said, even though it's international break, we still got you covered at SportyTV because there are some pretty exciting international matches, and the Liga High Promotion still in play on SportyTV this week. We have Eibar and Levante, but some World Cup qualifiers. Chile versus Argentina. This one is tasty, a big rivalry. The first time Chile is playing without Claudio Bravo for the first time in several years. Brazil in action versus Ecuador. More La Liga High Promotion later in the week with Sporting Gijón taking on Oviedo and an international friendly with USA taking on Canada. And there's nothing friendly about that match. I'll tell you that much because I should know. All right, guys, let's talk about the weekend that has passed. And there's only one place to start here.
Let's not start from that place, please.
Manchester United get absolutely thrashed by Liverpool at Old
not
Trafford.
Start from that place.
And it should have probably been for... unlucky for Trent with the Stevie G celebration, but Mo Salah just caught him off a little bit. Alex, we called this. We called this. I think all of us, including Klinton, actually said that Liverpool were going to dominate this game. And
listen, it's not that we didn't know that Liverpool was going to win us, but we didn't know it was going to be that bad. That's the whole argument.
The way they were playing around you guys, there's a clip going around of them doing rondas. It's like the 57th minute, and they are absolutely embarrassing this team. Now, listen, this is what Erik ten Hag had to say after the match, and then I'll get Clinton's reaction to it.
So, what do you mean? Tell me then. Explain me. Maybe you can explain me which mistakes we make regular.
Well, constantly turning the ball over in your own half, playing the ball out from the back, getting mugged, chances come on the back of it, counter-attacks when you're outnumbered, giving up endless chances in your own stadium against the team's biggest rivals. With the greatest respect, I've been seeing that for so long now.
You are sure?
Absolutely. Absolutely sure.
I don't think otherwise you wouldn't win trophies as we did and to beat big opponents. So I'm sorry for you. I have another vision.
You wouldn't, with the greatest respect, you played brilliantly against City in that final. You almost lost to Cambridge in the semi-final. I mean, come on, let's have a realistic view of what happened there.
I think we won after City the most trophies in English football. So I'm sorry for you.
Clearly a very frustrated Ten Hag once again. But for him to be speaking about Manchester United, we have the second most trophies after Man City. But no one's talking, if we're going to talk about, the 1960s, then Alex is going to be screaming the Three Lions. It's such the way he's speaking about it. Klinton, how do you feel? Obviously, as a Man U fan, but this is the reaction. A journalist was simply saying, they made mistakes today, and you saw the mistakes yourself. And the reaction is this. Does that not concern you?
God have mercy on me. You see, sometimes, right, you just... Yeah. I've told Manchester United, if they are struggling with people to coach that team, I am available. I don't know why these people are underrating me. The guy that's the coach of Brighton, I'm older than that guy. Yeah. Fact is, Ten Hag, we need to lock him up in a room, pour him cold water for like a couple of hours. So because I feel like there's just something wrong with his thinking faculty. How is somebody telling you what the problem with our team is? This is somebody who's not even the coach. This is somebody watching the game. It's almost like Ten Hag is watching something different. Even the people that he uses to start a game, especially really important games, they're beginning to really annoy me. How would you start? This is Brighton. This is Brighton. Fam, they've been telling you that Marcus Rashford is not on form. Why would you start him in a game like that? Why would you put Amad Diallo in the bench? This guy is the... Listen, there is no Manchester United player that's better than Amad Diallo right now. Why is he not starting such a game? Why is Garnacho not on the left? Why is Amad Diallo not playing from the right? You know that this guy is down. Listen, right now, I'm telling you the truth, right? Marcus Rashford should go and... Listen, you guys know how much I love Marcus Rashford on this show. I've spoken so well about him so many times, right? I've told you he has talent. There's something inside of him there that is just not shining at this point. We saw him shine. At some point, people thought that he was going to replace Kylian Mbappe in PSG. That's how good they thought he was. And all of a sudden, he's no longer the Rashford that he is. But how many times do you continue trying that same guy in important games? If we were playing Nottingham Forest, if we were playing if we were playing Leicester, even Leicester might even trash us if you even start Marcus Rashford at this point, right? But if we were playing, say, a team like Southampton, Ipswich, you start Marcus Rashford. Let him start building his confidence from this kind of team that you know that even if Rashford does not perform, there's a high chance that we are going to win. You don't start Marcus Rashford playing Manchester City. You don't start Marcus Rashford playing Brighton. You don't start Marcus Rashford playing a team like Chelsea or Arsenal. What's going on with these guys? Is it that nobody tells them the truth?
I think it's really telling that he's starting Rashford and making Garnacho go to the other side in order to keep Rashford playing. Like, you can really see where his loyalties are. But how did you guys feel also about the substitution for Harry Maguire? Because that was also a horrendous substitution, in my opinion.
I mean, at the end of the day, our defense, they were pretty much messed up. I mean, Casemiro...
No, you have no defense.
Oh, what? I know, absolutely. Absolutely.
And you brought in the likes of De Ligt and Mazraoui, and this is still a problem. Like, it's not good.
I mean, you see, those players are still new, right? That's the one excuse I'm going to give for them now, right? Maybe they're still trying to find themselves. I mean, look at Kylian Mbappe. It was only just... I mean, I know we've not gotten into that, but he's been... The last couple of games, his teams have not really been well. So I'm going to give these guys the benefit of doubt that they are new signings and maybe they just need to kind of click with the team. And then maybe later on, they would better understand themselves. Yesterday, Casemiro, who is a very high standard player, he's come from Real Madrid, the best team in the world. And now he's obviously, he was involved in 2 of the goals yesterday, right? His mistakes. Now, I'm not going to blame him. People do mistakes. Even the keeper, Onana, maybe he could have saved 1 or 2, but he was not expecting the kind of mistake that the defense were making. And then, listen, yesterday there was something going on in the defense and they needed to change something. Now, if he's bringing Harry Maguire, mind you, Harry Maguire might be a very funny defender that you cannot put your trust on, but at least he's had the experience. He's been in that team. He's played in games where they've won matches, right? Harry Maguire is the guy that, okay, he knows what's going on. He's probably played Brighton way more than any of the new signings that we have in Manchester United, right? So if they are bringing in Harry Maguire at that point, I would understand. But then again, was that going to help our defense? No, because Harry Maguire isn't playing up to that standard that a Manchester United player should be playing. So you can't really blame that changing. But what I'm saying is when you come... My problem is they beat us in our own home. We did not even score 1 goal. We did not score 1 goal. Oh, God, wait till me all these ones. Now, wait till we do for this word. I don't finish. Oh, God, Ten Hag, now you will kill me for this word. Listen, we didn't even score. We didn't score 1 goal in Old Trafford. Do you know what that means? In Old Trafford. They beat us to the point now they want to start making it New Trafford. They want to build another stadium because they beat the hell out of our life in Old Trafford.
Alex, I know that there was a lot of critique on Casemiro, as Klinton kind of alluded to here, and he did not have a good game, to say the least. But at the same time, there was such a gap between the midfield and the defense that there was also no room for error in the middle there. That I think it was the second goal was, halfway up the pitch, and yet Casemiro made a mistake there, and there was no defence after that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know where to start, to be honest. Start to finish, back to front, it was a shocking performance. I look at that United midfield, and Arne Slot said it himself, in order, that was one of the keys for them to win that game. They needed 3 midfielders that were going to run themselves ragged for 90 minutes, and you saw it. United were looking tired, helpless. Casemiro, on his day, 5 years ago, one of the best midfielders in the world, arguably the best centre defensive midfielder in the world, but he's not at the pace at the moment, and you can tell he's really feeling the effect of, he's not getting any younger, and he's just not at the pace of the Premier League. You look at, a player that they would have probably needed, and a player that would have probably done quite well yesterday was a certain Scott McTominay, but he's gone to Napoli.
For real, yes.
I look at the service that Joshua Zirkzee was getting, that he wasn't getting. He didn't get any service. He had that one header later on in the game that was probably their best chance of the game, their only real chance. And then I look at Ten Hag talking in the media about how, he doesn't believe what the journalist is saying about how, we wouldn't have won all these trophies if we weren't playing like this. But about a year or so, maybe 2 years ago, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said something that was quite poignant, and it relates back to yesterday's performance. Sometimes winning trophies can hide what the real problem is. Yes, they won the FA Cup last season, but where did they finish in the league? 8th. When you're a club like Manchester United, arguably behind Real Madrid, the biggest club in the world, you should not be finishing 8th in the Premier League. He's been there how many seasons? 3 seasons. He's spent almost over £600 million. He's brought in players that haven't worked. He's had free rein on transfers. He's allowed to bring in, former Ajax players that he's worked with before. And it just looks lifeless. Rashford was dire. He looks like a former shell of himself, and a shell of his former self. And I look at that performance from start to finish, back to front, disappointing. The only real positive I could get out of that was maybe Mazwari. I thought he was okay. And, you just look at some of the signings there.
Look at the top of that list.
Anthony, I haven't seen a good thing from Anthony this season.
I cannot believe Anthony. I cannot even... Wait. Anthony's still in Manchester United?
He is, somehow.
No, wait. No, because first of all, when you know how when a team is playing and then they start showing the cameo of players that are on the bench. He doesn't even feature in that cameo. Because
the heat maps. I think if it was Anthony's heat map, it would just be on the bench. I really, obviously there is a quality player in there somewhere, but he's not adapted to the Premier League.
No, definitely not.
He's got that big price tag on his head, and he's come over to the Premier League. Ten Hag's obviously trusted him to be that focal point of the attack, but he's been poor, non-existent. I know he didn't start yesterday. It was Rashford, Bruno Fernandes and Garnacho. It's the selection, it's the tactics. They got run over by Liverpool. Liverpool are a good team, yes, but they're also in a sort of transition period. They're going from, Jurgen Klopp to Arne Slot. It's a different tactics, different culture. This is an opportunity where Ten Hag needs to show that the 660 million that they've spent on his squad over the last 3 years eventually needs to come good. And I'm worried for his job, and to be brutally honest, I would be surprised if he lasts until Christmas.
It's looking like that, right?
You don't go into facing a team like Liverpool, knowing where Manchester United stands when it comes to the level of fitness of our players, right? And you want to start making all these little errors that costed us that game. Look, just look at Liverpool. Look at their team. You don't have a Mo Salah on the right, and then you have the guy that scored their first 2 goals.
Lucho Diaz.
Luis Diaz, right? You don't have him on the right. You see, listen, those 2 alone. Those 2. Just give Liverpool those 2 guys and a goalkeeper and 1 midfielder. They could still beat Manchester United. Put every other player behind on a bench. That's how crazy. You don't go. I don't understand. The other day I was saying to you guys that one thing I love about Manchester United is they might mess up playing little teams like Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace, and all of this stuff. But when it comes to the big shots...
That's you eating your words.
Yes. I mean, that's me. I know. But I was literally going to let you know how bad Manchester United have now gone to. So now they are rubbish to small teams, and the big teams, whom they always turn up for, they are now rubbish to them at the same time.
That has been kind of one of the things of this Ten Hag team, that they have not always, obviously they got beat 7-0 by Liverpool not too long ago, but they do seem to turn up in those big games. You saw them beat City in the FA Cup final.
Of course. And it wasn't just that they beat Manchester City. The Manchester United you saw that day was a whole... This was the Manchester United that we know.
And you see glimpses of it, and then it disappears for another 3 weeks.
That's my problem.
But that's also why I think what Alex mentioned about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer saying, winning trophies or having these wins against a bigger team, those little glimpses of hope. it's almost like this team needs to crash and burn properly in order to regrow from the ashes, because they, collapse a little bit, build up, collapse a little bit, live up. They have to, just the entire thing needs to start from, a new foundation.
And you know what? I think that's what Chelsea has done with, their team, to a certain level, right? Because, there was a time that I felt like, okay, Chelsea were becoming what Manchester United are now, and everybody was just mocking Chelsea. And what they've been doing is they've just been taking people off, bringing new people. In as much as some of the new people, they were not working to an extent. And we felt like they were just going to lend themselves, get used to themselves. And we see it in Chelsea. Currently, yes, we understand that their dressing room is like a Nigerian church. And, there's a pastor somewhere and the whole congregation are all praying or something, yeah? But now they are beginning to... Chelsea, they're still not there yet.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. They drew with Crystal Palace yesterday.
I mean, I didn't want to commit to Chelsea just yet because we have a Chelsea fan here. But I'm just saying that what Manchester United probably needs, like what Sara said, is start dismantling, right? All these big names. Maybe I'm beginning to accept that we don't need all these big names anymore. I mean, look at Casemiro. Casemiro isn't the Casemiro The Casemiro we have right now, the CA is no longer there. It's Amiro remaining. It's not even Amiro. It's Miro. And it's just a mirror of himself, right? We don't understand. They need to literally shift all these. Bruno Fernandes, I don't know what's even wrong with him lately.
Okay, enough of Man United. I've had enough.
Yeah.
I've had enough.
Sorry, I don't want...
because I'm realizing we're going to go down a very dark, dark tunnel. Let's come out of it. Let's go from the bottom of the table right to the top. Manchester City comfortably beating West Ham. And let's talk a little bit about Erling Haaland, because he scored back-to-back hat-tricks in the Premier League, has played 70 matches and has scored 69 goals. He's the third top scorer for Man City in his short career there of 2 seasons and just starting his third. Alex Ashmore, my question to you is, if you had to pick right now, Victor Osimhen or Erling Haaland, bring it back to this question, who are you taking?
I'd pick Erling Haaland over anyone. Mbappe, Vinicius. Erling Haaland is the best player in the world.
They're coming.
Erling Haaland is the best player in the world right now, full stop. Yeah.
I mean, I thought the same, but the reason why I was just going to cuss you in is because I want what you've just said, I just hope it gets out on social media, because there's these 2 guys who are based in Nigeria, call them maybe influencers. One is called a guy called Mr. Jollof, right? He's from where I come from, actually, in Nigeria. Another guy is a guy called Very Dark Man. He's a social activist online, right? And both of them have put up a post regarding this particular guy compared to Osimhen, right? Now, this guy called Very Dark Man, he did say Osimhen is better than Haaland, is better than Mbappe, is better than everybody. And what's his name? I think Mr. Jollof. I can't remember. I think, no. Sorry. Don't get me. I don't think Mr. Jollof said anything about him being better than any of these guys. I think this was Very Dark Man. And a lot of people had to bounce on him, including Nigerians. And they said, yo, we understand we need to support our own, but you need to chill at this point. Okay? Victor Osimhen is definitely the best player in Africa, or maybe the best striker. At least there's no striker that's better than Osimhen.
I mean, the only one that really comes close is Victor Boniface.
Well, exactly. Victor
or
Boniface.
Ademola Lookman.
Or Ademola Lookman. Or maybe even, I know Kudus is not really a striker or anything like that. He's a winger, but I will put literally Kudus right now on top 3 in Africa. I don't know who I'm going to substitute to, try. But Kudus, I'm not from Nigeria. I'm sorry. Hey! I'm not from Ghana.
Breaking news. Klinton's not from Nigeria.
Don't do that, man. My Nigerian passport.
Changing nationalities quicker than you change teams.
Let me tell you the truth. I went to update my Nigerian passport recently, and that costed me. I had to do a lot of bribes, because in Nigeria you can't just walk in and just the way you guys do, you apply it. No, ours you have to. I paid nearly £800 to renew my Nigerian passport. So, and it only just happened like 3 months ago. So me denouncing my Nigerian citizenship, it might in the future, but not now. until that passport has expired at least. But no, Osimhen versus Haaland. Me as a Nigerian, I love my brother Osimhen, but fact is nobody comes close to Haaland. literally nobody comes close. No, when it comes to, yes, they will say it's because he has Kevin De Bruyne, he has the best midfield. It's not about even that. It's about being able to take the opportunities that this midfielder.
I mean, that goal he scored, I think it was the second or the third one. You know, he got a good ball into his feet, but he still had to turn and shoot it into the top corner.
Somehow,
he still has to score those goals.
He still got it. I was arguing with my friend this morning. Because this guy is a very huge Nicholas Jackson fan. And I said to him, bro, listen, look at the goal Nicholas Jackson missed yesterday. This was a one-on-one. Mind you, the ball came from the top. He was able to use his head to control it straight to the goal. But what happened? That kind of thing. You think Haaland will get that kind of opportunity and is going to miss it? No way. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Haaland would have missed one or two. But it's the frequency at which you deliver these goals.
I mean, that stat is quite frankly ridiculous.
No, it
8
is.
hat-tricks in 69 games.
It's
Robbie
crazy,
Fowler
man.
ahead of him with one more hat trick.
Yeah,
I
you
think
look
has
at
like 200 more matches than
You
he
look at
had.
the players around him, Shearer, Harry Kane, Robbie Fowler. These are players that are, you know, some of the best strikers in football history. Erling Haaland has played, you know, 69 or 70 games in the Premier League, and he scored already 8 hat-tricks. That is unheard of.
That's a ridiculous... Like, listen, we need to go and investigate Haaland. I think there is some... it might be that apart from him being Haaland, go and check his bomb. He's probably working with Tiger Battery. Oh, yo, you guys know Tiger Battery? Oh, okay. Oh, Tiger Battery is a Nigerian thing. Okay, sorry. I thought Tiger Battery existed. But it's like this powerful battery that, you know, if I stone you with that battery, trust me, you're going to be in hospital for 6 months. It's that heavy,
well,
right?
let's not do that.
But no, I feel like that's what Haaland is. There's something about Haaland. He's just a star. Yesterday and do you know what the crazy thing is? He's now so used to the goals that even when he scores, it's almost like he's not thinking about the goal. He's thinking about the quality of the goal. He's thinking, yeah, it's good, it's all right. Yeah, that one is all right, but maybe that's not the kind of goal I want to score. He's gone past the striker that scores goals. He's now the striker that thinks about the kind of goals he wants to score. And somehow he manages to just get it in the back of the net. And this, my guy, is telling me, Nicholas Jackson,
Well, speaking of Nicholas Jackson, Nicholas Jackson scored 2 back-to-back goals
He tapped in
the
yesterday.
Premier League.
Listen, Sarah, you will score the goal Nicholas Jackson scored yesterday. What are you telling me about? Why are you not praising the guy that was able to pass? See, there are some goals that you see, the person that scored, his name goes to the score sheet. But it's how, yesterday, for example, Real Madrid, Valverde assists. So Kylian Mbappe was more sweeter than the goal.
I tried to talk about Chelsea for you, Alex. You just skipped right.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Right over it. Right over it. It doesn't
We don't
matter.
have to talk about Chelsea.
Well, I was going to talk about Eberici Eze's goal because that was one of the best goals of the weekend.
Nah.
But Klinton's so obsessed with Nicholas Jackson, that's all
No,
his head goes
it's not like I'm obsessed with Nicholas Jackson. It's the fact that Nicholas Jackson scored a goal. That right now, Alex, who is not a footballer, he does paddle. Alex, listen, I understand that you have to see with these glasses. If I take away your glasses right now, you will score that goal that Nicholas Jackson scored yesterday.
I don't know, my leg's a bit injured still.
Even with an injured leg, you will still score. Listen, you will be on a wheelchair, you will score that goal Nicholas Jackson scored yesterday. And they are telling me, Nicholas Jackson, I'm going to sit down, Joe. Give me Nicholas Jackson. Listen. I've told people before, every single time I'm saying it, Nicholas Jackson is a player. But for a team like Chelsea, when they are saying you need Osimhen, they are trying to help. Look at Haaland. Haaland is a complete striker. When I say complete, it's not about Victor. Chelsea, they create chances. To me, I see more chances from Chelsea than Manchester City. No, I watch these games. I'm telling you that I see a lot of things that Chelsea do on the pitch, yeah? And you will see Manchester City. It's almost like they are having to do so much to get what Chelsea would do with minimal efforts on the pitch. But the thing is to score the goal. So the difference between Manchester City and Chelsea is the fact that when Manchester City manages to get the opportunity, they have somebody that would not... It's like the moment it goes to his feet, it's going in. With your one, you create the chances for Chelsea, but you also have to think about when he goes to the legs of that striker, will he be able to convert it? That is the question. With Haaland, it's like a no-brainer. If he goes from Kevin De Bruyne, if he goes from Rodri, if he goes from Doku, if he goes from Savio or anybody, he gets through to Haaland's leg. Listen, once it comes to Haaland, 90% outside of the 18-yard box, he's not even taking the ball anywhere. Fam, just update the scoreboard. That's how crazy Haaland is now. Fam! Listen, Haaland is the god of football in England today. Nobody, like, Literally, what am I talking about? England? I'm talking about worldwide.
I mean, he's the best player in the world at the moment.
Oh, thank God they've shifted the conversation away from Mbappe, because that's obviously, they always say Mbappe is, you know, when I always say that Mbappe is the best player, arguably. It's because I know that a lot of people don't want to argue it, but I would argue that, yes, I'm a Madrid fan in La Liga, but fam, Mbappe, Haaland, bruh, two different people. Haaland is miles ahead, man.
Mbappe's a World Cup, but it's none of my business.
It's not my business either. I just know Haaland is.
I think Mbappe is still a better footballer overall. Like all
Oh
around.
no, overall.
On form, though. On form,
Oh my
Haaland
God,
is the best player in the world at the moment.
But you see, this is the reason why I said arguably. And what are the things we could argue when it comes to this kind of conversation? We would ask ourselves, right, what is their jobs on the pitch? Yeah, that's where we start from. What is Haaland's job on the pitch? His job is not to come and do what Mbappe does, right? His job is to score goals. I don't care how you do it. The question is, are you doing your job? Mbappe, what is your job? Mbappe is just a showmaker. Yeah? His job, he plays from the right. Sincerely, I don't think Mbappe is a striker. Yeah? Mbappe is a winger. Mbappe, by nature, when you see his game, you know he's meant to just be on that left wing. Unfortunately for him, they also have a beast mode guy who's also on that left wing. And that's why he's not able to show you the Mbappe that he truly is. Yeah? I would love to see Mbappe on that left wing for full 90 minutes. Nobody. Like, you know how you see Mbappe just dropping down a bit and somebody's giving him the ball and he's running down from that left. I want to see Mbappe do it in Real Madrid for 90 minutes, even if it's just for one game. Let's shift Vinicius, like we were speaking to the fans yesterday. Some of them said they would wish to see Vinicius play from the middle. I don't know. I don't know for some reason why I don't see Vinicius playing from the middle. Because I just know, you know, when you've seen a player play in a particular way, you just feel like, nah, there's nowhere else that suits you. But I would love to see Mbappe just do it once. Haaland, what's his own job? His own job is just stay there, get the ball from whoever, and make sure you convert it. And today, he's the highest goal scorer. Last season stroke, this season is definitely going to be. Question now, I put it to you, my lord. Remember, you are the judge. I put it to you, my lord. With all these arguments presented, who is the man of the moment?
Haaland.
Simple.
All right, let's talk a little Arsenal, because Arsenal dropped points at Emirates to Brighton, who is surprising all of us, I think, so far this season. They're now in third place, just ahead of Arsenal. Massive, I don't want to say loss, but it felt like a loss for the Gunners. Declan Rice getting his first senior red card and being sent off. And this is what Mikel Arteta had to say after the match.
I was amazed. Amazed, because how inconsistent decisions can be. In the first half, there are two incidents, nothing happens. And then in a no-critical area, the ball hits Declan heel. He turns around. He doesn't see the play coming, touches the ball. By law, he can make that call. But by law, then he needs to make the next call, which is red card. So we play 10 against 10. So this is what amazed me. It's at this level, it's honestly amazing.
Alex, how do you feel about the double yellow Declan Rice received yesterday? Do you think it was warranted?
I think it's a difficult one. I can see, you know, from one side of things, if you're looking at the law, you know, yes, you could say there was a little bit of contact, but it was a bit of an excessive, you know, dive. He was going down, he was holding his knee, clearly wasn't hurt that much. But I think I agree with what, you know, Arteta's been saying. Saka even said it himself as well. You know, many pundits have been saying this. You know, if you're going to do that, if you're going to give him a yellow card for that incident, you're going to have to give a yellow card for about 8 other incidences in that half. You know, countless number of incidents over the weekend. Every single game of football, there are instances like that go unnoticed. You know, the ball gets kicked away, or the ball gets rolled away too far, or there's a player wasting time. This never really gets penalised. You know, on the occasion it does. And I do often feel like when it happens, especially like this, it is the referee trying to stamp their authority on the game, but in such a way that they're trying to make the player feel, you know, less important. They want the player to know, I'm more important than you. You know, this is me putting my authority over the game and over you. So, you know, at the end of the day, yes, maybe it was the correct decision, but then that means you have to be consistent all the way throughout the game and every other game. And, you know, it is just not. The law isn't upheld like that, and you can't, expect someone to complain. They're right to complain about the fact that it was a yellow card. Perhaps Brighton knew what they were doing, but there's just so much inconsistency from the referee, and it feels like a bit of a power trip from the referee, going, this is my game, I'm going to control it how I want to. And yes, the first yellow card was a deserved yellow card, but I think the second yellow was very harsh.
Yeah, I agree. And I think also from this match, yes, Gabriel and Saliba had a mistake in the back, which led to the Brighton goal. But besides that, I think Arsenal outplayed Brighton. I think they played pretty well overall as well. So I felt how they would feel, the players and the coach, obviously, because I do think they should have won this match, and I think there was a bit of unluckiness. But the thing is, especially in the Premier League, these kind of things tend to go around as well. We see how, especially last season, how unlucky Liverpool were, especially. It kind of, unfortunately, just seems like this is part of the game, and the inconsistency of VAR and the refereeing is just something that, it's a tough pill to swallow, but it's something that you just have to deal with.
No, honestly, I felt really bad for Arsenal, though. That was extreme. I mean, there are some things that. Sorry, I'm going to have to come back to Real Madrid again yesterday. If you guys watched the game, they were.
Don't worry, we will talk about Real Madrid at one point too. We'll just keep going back to it.
No. But it's only because we're speaking about the refereeing now, right? Yesterday, if Real Madrid fans had the opportunity to go into the stadium and literally start beating up the ref, we would have. I was so scared for the ref's life yesterday. People were literally standing up with anger. Yeah. Yesterday, I saw the same with Arsenal. That red card was very uncalled for. I kept on watching the clip to see where Declan Rice went wrong to get the second yellow that sent him off the pitch. Knowing who Declan Rice is when it comes to his influence to Arsenal, the dirty work he does on that defensive side of the midfield. You just can't let go of Declan Rice in such an early moment of that game. And like I said, it just doesn't make sense. What was the whole point? Was he trying to get his name to make the headlines or something? So I'm talking about the ref. I know some refs, they are eager for.
That's kind of what Alex is saying.
Oh, well, maybe. I just feel like there's just something that was just. They need to call him into a room and ask him questions. Is it that somebody already said, "Yo, you need to give somebody a red card. I'm going to put a bet on it, and whatever I get from it, I'm giving you 40% of it." And it just felt like maybe this might be the best opportunity to issue a red card. I would have thought that there would have been more opportunities to do that kind of stuff. But for Declan Rice, that costed Arsenal that game. I mean, they are lucky they didn't lose it. It was a draw, which I'm surprised because you could see that the opponents, they did a lot. They were literally knocking the door. And for them to have lasted the whole game, ended with a drive, I give credit to Arsenal. Wasn't too bad.
As it stands in the Premier League, Man City and Liverpool both with 9 points, both with the perfect record. Actually, Liverpool don't even have a goal against them yet. And then Brighton, Arsenal, and Newcastle in 3, 4, and 5 with 7 points. So tough weekend for Arsenal, but we'll see what happens to them after the international break. Let's jump to La Liga because it was also a very interesting weekend. And actually, Klinton, Con, and I were at the Santiago Bernabeu yesterday. Here's a little bit of the action from what we saw.
How do you feel about the game today?
Very good. I think the pressure went off after we put our first goal.
Definitely very happy.
I feel good.
We're very happy.
It was beautiful.
Amazing. Who was your star boy today in the game?
Valverde.
Me, Fede Valverde. Mbappé, for sure.
Mbappé. Kylian Mbappé scored 2. Do you think that the 2 goals is going to help boost his confidence for the coming game?
100%. As a former soccer player myself.
11. Man said 11. What about you?
8.
Ronaldo is a 10 over 10. Mom, I didn't bring in Cristiano Ronaldo. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exciting scenes yesterday. Real Madrid really getting the monkey off their back there yesterday, especially the one Kylian Mbappé scoring 2 goals, 1 a penalty as well. Klinton, talk us through it a bit because you were actually in the stadium.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was a very crazy game. Obviously, the first half, people were kind of like disappointed because it was almost like the Real Madrid from the season since it started was the Real Madrid we were going to get again from the first half, and it was almost like things were just still not working out. Even for Kylian Mbappe as well, people were scared. Kylian Mbappe was making some awful mistakes. Forget about the goals for now, right? But there were just some things that just wasn't working. You could see Real Madrid struggling. If Real Betis had like crazy attackers that had sense, Real Madrid would have easily lost the game yesterday, literally from the first half. And I was in the stadium and you could just see people getting frustrated. I was with the other TV guys and you could just see them saying, yeah, there's something wrong. This is just not working. They need to figure something out. And I just felt like that game, it was going to be the first loss for Real Madrid. But I think they went into the second half, probably at the dressing room. Maybe Ancelotti showed them a gun or something that if they don't come with a win, somebody was going to die. And something just came alive. And listen, I have to give credit to Valverde. Valverde right now is the best player in Real Madrid. Listen, I understand that Kylian Mbappe is a star, but he scored the 2 goals. But, like I said earlier, there are some goals that you see people score and people tend to forget how the assist came, right? That assist from Valverde, I don't know how he was able to think that Kylian Mbappe was going there. And Kylian Mbappe, who is a very great footballer, he has this, listen to me, Kylian Mbappe is great. Kylian Mbappe, arguably the best, yeah? If the opportunity is there, he will take it. The fact that he's playing in the position that he's not been playing for a long time, and you could see him still trying his best, we are still going to give credit to him. I mean, yesterday, Valverde gave him a very good assist. He scored the first goal. Second one came up from a penalty, which Vinicius, whom I give total credit to, everybody thinks Vinicius is some kind of arrogant little boy. Somebody who's always very selfish. He wants to get the goal. He wants to do everything himself. But you could just clearly tell that there's this human in him that's so humble and they're so meek. If you've heard, I wouldn't believe that Mbappe had already scored a goal. This is a penalty. I mean, I'm Vinicius, right? I deserve a goal too. You've scored a goal. But why did he feel like, I still want to give Mbappe to have a brace in this game? And he did, and Mbappe scored too. And everyone is speaking about Mbappe, and everybody's forgetting about the fact that somebody made that happen. Vinicius won the penalty. He also took the penalty. He gave Valverde, who is an engine. Valverde is the heart. Take away the heart, there's nothing for Real Madrid. I don't understand where this guy's energy comes from. Listen, you need to see this guy. I mean, you probably have seen him in real life play. But you need to see Valverde, 1 minute, he's like, I'm chasing you and I'm tracking you and I'm going to get it. If he's not winning the ball, he's taking it to the... I don't know which energy Valverde... I don't know where it's coming from. Valverde is just a beast. Listen, if there's anybody that deserves 600,000 euros a week in any football club right now, Valverde is a beast. Everybody were like, Mbappe, Vini. This guy called Valverde is literally the man of Real Madrid. He needs to be celebrated. That game yesterday was Valverde for me. I was happy when I was speaking to the fans outside of the stadium and I was asking a few questions about who was the man of the match for the game, and people were like, Mbappe, obviously because he scored 2 goals. I would understand that. He's a star boy that's come from PSG to Real Madrid, and he's been struggling with goals and he's managed to get 2 goals, so why not? You may as well give him the man of the match. But Valverde, easily, he was the man of the match for me. Crazy atmosphere. Obviously, you saw the video. We came out and the fans were super happy when they scored the first goal. When Mbappe scored the first goal, you need to see the reaction of people in the stadium. It was crazy. Like, Mbappe has fans. Mbappe has people. Mbappe has soldiers. If you look at that stadium, everybody came for Mbappe. It's not like they came to watch Real Madrid, but because they are still waiting for that Mbappe moment. And you could see them supporting this young man. Everybody was just like, Mbappe. And I was happy. Just before I even stopped, something I can give credit to again, to Mbappe. Man, thank God this is, if this was live, I'm sure people would have said, this guy talks too much. But sorry, I was at the game and I feel like I want to outpour everything that went there. Mbappe has just been extremely humble since he's been in Real Madrid. you could tell that man is not talking too much. Man just wants to play. He wants to score. He wants to deliver. He wants to get to the point where he's going to put his name there, where he will be able to bring out his voice. Look at Mbappe in PSG. Mbappe is more important than the president of France. Like, people would literally follow Mbappe rather than follow. Nobody gives a hell about the president. It's just Mbappe. And I'm sure that France would have done everything to keep that young man there. And he was the king in that kingdom. He left from there. And he now came to a country where he's probably just going to be part of an empire. He's no longer a king. And he's just been so humble, he's just been so calm, he's just been waiting for his moment. And when the moment came, I was just so happy when I saw Mbappe run to that sideline and did the celebration. I felt so emotional. I was just hoping that his dad was watching, so they would just take the camera to the dad. I just wanted to see the dad's reaction. I know Mbappe. I had very different opinion of Mbappe. I thought he was just some arrogant, big guy in football who is just a spoiled little boy at the same time. But Mbappe in Real Madrid is Mbappe I love. And I just want him to deliver the goals whilst he keeping the same personality. That's what I noticed about Mbappe in Real Madrid so far.
Alex, is there something to say about the fact that, as Klinton mentioned, Betis were not their best, also missing the likes of Isco and Marc Bartra, and the way Madrid played, even when Mbappe scored, they still weren't convincing. This wasn't a scintillating win for Real Madrid. I think the biggest takeaway from this is that Mbappe scored because personally for him, I think he needed to regain his confidence. But the team itself still looks discombobulated. And now there's an international break. Obviously, they still got the win. But the concern isn't quite over yet, is it?
I don't think so fully. I definitely think many of the concerns have been alleviated after yesterday. I think when you look at the performance, yes, to be frank, it probably wasn't the best performance. Betis played well in parts. They put up a good defensive performance. Unfortunately for them, it didn't look like they could buy a goal yesterday. They had a few opportunities, but it just wasn't going right for them. I think the big takeaway from this is obviously Ancelotti would have wanted to stick around with this group and go into a midweek game or a game next weekend and play and keep that momentum going. I think that's always the case with players and managers. And I think with this, the fact that Mbappe scored is the biggest thing. I think, if he hadn't scored, it would have been 4 games, no goals. The pressure continues to mount. There's the headlines. There's the stories you read. It does affect, no matter how little you read social media and no matter how much you try and stay away from social media as a player, it can still affect you. You can still hear it in the background. When you get the ball, you can, if you're away, you can feel the boos or the whistles. You can hear that pressure. And for him to get that goal, and I think, fantastic for Vinicius to let him take the penalty, to get that brace, I think fantastic for him because, it will not only give him that confidence to think, right, I can breathe, I've got my first goal. That's the, as you say, the sort of, I guess, the pressure off my back now. He can now move on and just think about playing football properly. I think that was probably a big thing in the back of his mind. I have to get that first goal. And perhaps it will work in, their favour as well with Vinicius. The pressure off him of maybe, they're both looking to try and help each other out. And sometimes the pressure does mount up a bit too much. And you saw yesterday, the first half was quite a disappointing performance. But yeah, at the end of the day, the most important thing is they got the win. And 3 points going to the international break. Hopefully he can stay fit, avoid injury, go into Real Sociedad next weekend on the 14th and get another win.
And Noeta is no joke. So the pressure remains for Real Madrid. But a quick moment of breathing, I think, is allowed for them. And I mean, this was a massive win because a day prior, Barcelona made an absolute statement in La Liga, beating Real Valladolid 7-0. And Lamine Yamal now has 4 assists and 1 goal in 4 matches. 17 years old. What are we doing?
It's not bad.
What are we doing?
There was one statement I made about Lamine Yamal earlier during the Euros, and I said that Lamine Yamal is the guy who might not be the guy scoring goals. Yeah, I think his ministry in football is going to be that guy who will be working the goals out. right?
I think you've said this on the show about
yes,
4 times.
yeah, exactly. Oh, okay. So I've said it so many times, and I see him being a star boy when it comes to that aspect of football. He might not he might score them once in a while, crazy goal that's going to shut the whole world up, right? But he might not give you that kind of goal every single time. He's just going to be the one who would be feeding the passes, doing the dribbles from that right wing and getting into the 18-yard box, doing key passes that means somebody's scoring a goal. And honestly, I'm happy he's doing it from this age. He's going to get used to it. He's going to master the craft and he's going to become a beast eventually. And I can't wait for when that happens, when everybody would start looking at Lamine Yamal the same way we look at the likes of Kylian Mbappe and co.
Yeah, I agree. I think with the way Barcelona have started their season and with this win, Real Madrid really, really needed that win yesterday because Barcelona are, of course, top of the table with 12 points, but Real Madrid now second, 8 points with Atleti and Villarreal right behind them. Can you imagine if Madrid had, lost, let's say, or drew even? That gap in between would have it would have been a very difficult, very, very difficult international break for Madrid. But Barcelona, on the other hand, looking like a Barcelona I once knew 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Rafinha had the best game I've seen him play in the Blaugrana. Lewandowski, after all the critique and hate he's got, is saying, I may be old, but I still got it. And, I think it's early. We keep doing this. It's so early. But with the way they're playing, they are making a statement saying we're coming for La Liga.
Yeah, I think it's exciting to see. And, Real Madrid, as much as they would not want to admit this, they need Barcelona just as much as Barcelona need Real Madrid. La Liga needs this for the competition. If there's just one, you see it in the French league, when there's just one team there, the interest goes away. And to have Barcelona, I know that, like you said, it's early yet. They're not back to the heights of the 2009 Champions League final and those teams with Messi, Busquets, when Guardiola was the manager. But it's heading in the right direction, and it feels like Hansi Flick has really got a hold of this dressing room and has implemented his culture. He's slowly trying to get his tactics, his messages across to the players. And, I think it's exciting to see. Yes, there will be people saying, and I'm one of those people, let's not get ahead of ourselves because it was against Valladolid, who look quite weak, actually, and I do worry about them. That's, 2 weeks in a row now, and they've lost, 3-0 to Real Madrid in match week 3.
To be fair, the match against Real Madrid, we spoke about this.
They did.
The scoreline doesn't equate what I saw on the pitch.
Can I just sorry, Alex? Yeah, because obviously you mentioned we've spoken about this at some point, and I just want to just clarify that stuff again, right? Is to tell you how bad Madrid has been. What Barcelona has done is they have shown you that Real Madrid. Let's hope that yesterday we kind of energized them and they will continue in that form and continue winning games. But they did win via the lead, 3-0. Yeah, in what's it called? In the Bernabeu, right? What was it called?
7-0.
7-0.
Real Madrid of last season would have won equally 6 or 7-0, I think, if you'd have put Real Madrid's team last season against.
Yeah, we're not talking about last season. We're talking about right now.
No, but I'm saying comparing. I think this is where Real Madrid should be at. The players they have.
Yes. They should be up here with him.
Because they should be putting 7 or 8 past by the lead.
Because mind you, Barcelona already had like 3 goals from the first half. Yeah. Real Madrid, first half, they struggled with Valladolid. As a matter of fact, when we went to the press conference, the one player that came from Valladolid that came to be interviewed, I was looking at him and I'm like, Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo, you could not silence these guys in first half. It took you second half to get 3 goals. And these 3 goals came from the mini versions of the pro guys. So the goals did not come from Kylian Mbappe, it didn't come from Vinicius, it didn't come from Rodrigo. It came from Brahim, it came from Valverde scored.
And Endrick.
And then Endrick, right? Mind you, yesterday, Endrick should have scored a goal. I don't know if he saw the opportunity. The moment he came in, he did a strike. And a part of me was praying that he would have scored because it would have been a back-to-back opportunity where you come in, boom, you come in again, boom. He would have boosted his confidence yesterday, but for some reason he missed. He was on target, but he just didn't go in. I really did hope he went in. But just coming back to that whole thing is to tell you how on form Barcelona are. If they are facing Valladolid that struggled, that Real Madrid struggled with, Madrid, Barcelona literally took them down proper.
If, Alex, if Real and Barca were to play a match tomorrow, what would the score be? Based
Draw.
on...
I think it would be a draw. I think, yes, Real Madrid haven't been at their best. Yes, there are levels to reach for this team. There's a long way to go until they're, perhaps running away with the league. I think they've got gears to get into. They're still in gear 1 or 2, 1 maybe 2, perhaps reaching 3 after yesterday. But it's an El Clasico. You go into a game like that, you raise your game no matter who you are. It's the biggest game in Spanish football, arguably. Obviously you've got
arguably the biggest game in world football, maybe
it
beside
is.
River and Boca.
Perhaps, yes. So when you look at a rivalry like that, no matter how badly you're playing, you do always raise your level of game. And I think if they were to play tomorrow, I do think it would be a draw.
What do you think?
Real Madrid versus Barcelona.
If they were to play tomorrow, because the El Clasico is scheduled for the first one, October 27th. We have some time. We have international breaks.
Can I tell you what I think is going to happen sincerely?
Well, that's why I asked.
Real Madrid is going to win that game, and it's going to be a 2-0. Can I tell you why?
Really
I'll tell
quickly.
you why. Now, in as much as Real Madrid, they are not at the best form at this point, but they are going to be that Premier League team that when they come against their real opponents, they are going to rise up. Yeah, they are going to be the Real Madrid that you used to know. Right now, what I think is going on with Real Madrid is the fact that, first of all, they have a player who has come to join them and is trying to figure out his way around the club. And obviously, he has faced this team that's coming to play Real Madrid. So Mbappe pretty much has the experience when it comes to all levels of football. Yeah, they would stand up. Fam, when you look at Barcelona, they have very good players, young players, Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, all of Lewandowski, the rest of them. I don't think they will still be able to match Real Madrid that will face Barcelona. Think about that word. Real Madrid that will face Barcelona, not Real Madrid that will face Valladolid, not Real Madrid that will face Real Betis, not Real Madrid that will face the random teams in Barcelona, in Spain. Because something I've noticed about Real Madrid with all these teams that they are struggling to beat in as much as they win some of them or draw, is the fact that they just underestimate them. Yeah, we have the best front four in the world, we have everything, and then they face this little team and think it's going to go easy. And these little teams, they are pretty much underrated, and they know that, right, we are coming to lose, however, let's prove these people wrong. So they kind of rise up, and these big teams who have underrated them, they start thinking, shit, what is going, So I know you ask, by now, you guys are used to me, I like talking, right? I mean, my job is to talk, right? So I know you asked me a simple question. Who is going to win? You just needed a very big answer, and I've already gone a whole long way. Sorry, what was the question?
All right, guys, that's it for us today. Remember, Nigeria are in action this international break, taking on Benin on Saturday. But we're back tomorrow, and we're doing something a little bit different. We have a game show for you guys. We hope you enjoy it. But until then, enjoy the football.
Ebwe. Po, po, po.
Well,